Have you ever wondered how a secret could ruin lives and end in disaster? It all started in a quiet Texas neighborhood, where wealthy families lived behind ornate gates and sprawling estates. The streets were lined with towering oak trees, and the air seemed filled with a serene stillness, masking the secrets that lay within these luxurious homes. Liam Smith was one of them, a successful businessman, a loving husband, and a proud father. To everyone else, Liam's life seemed perfect, like something out of a storybook. But hidden behind that perfect life was a secret that no one saw coming. Liam wasn't just good at his job. People looked up to him. But beneath his polished exterior was a man who often felt unfulfilled. The pressure to maintain his image as a perfect husband and father weighed heavily on him, leaving him searching for an escape. That's when he met someone who changed everything: Sophia Moreno. She was 24 years old, young, and full of dreams about becoming a big name in real estate. Sophia had always been ambitious, growing up in a small town where opportunities were scarce. She moved to Texas hoping to escape her humble beginnings and prove to herself and others that she could succeed. Her determination to climb the ladder of success made her confident, but it also made her vulnerable to the attention of someone like Liam. Sophia had just moved to Texas to make her dreams come true. One evening, at a fancy charity event, Liam and Sophia met. A single glance between them sparked something they both felt but couldn't explain. At first, their connection was small, just casual chats and friendly smiles. But soon, those smiles turned into private meetings. They both knew what they were doing was wrong. Liam had a family and a reputation to protect. Sophia knew getting involved with a married man could ruin everything she had worked for. Yet something about their bond was too strong to ignore. For months, they kept their relationship a secret. No one knew. Late-night phone calls and secretive meetings became part of their routine, but secrets don't stay hidden forever. Laura, Liam's wife, started noticing the changes. He was distracted, distant, and sneaking around. Laura felt something was off, and it didn't take long for her to discover the truth. One night, she found a message on Liam's phone. Sophia's name and the words, "I miss you," were enough to confirm her suspicions. Laura didn't confront Liam right away. Instead, she watched and waited, piecing together the affair in silence. Each discovery added to her pain, but she swallowed her feelings, trying to act normal in front of their children and friends. At night, she lay awake, torn between confronting him and pretending she didn't know. The silence became a weight she carried every day, pressing harder on her chest as the evidence piled up. She couldn't decide whether she was angrier at Liam or at herself for staying silent. And with each passing day, the storm inside her grew stronger. Her emotions shifted between heartbreak and rage. At times, she felt overwhelmed by sadness, remembering the man she thought she knew and the life they had built together. But as the days passed, her sorrow hardened into anger. She stayed up late at night replaying every moment of Liam's recent behavior, scrutinizing every word, every excuse. Each revelation stung, and with every piece of the puzzle she uncovered, her resolve to act grew stronger. The betrayal cut deep, but something else started to grow inside her: anger. She wanted revenge, not just for the betrayal, but for the way Liam had made her feel invisible. It wasn't long before she learned about Sophia's routine, where she lived, where she worked, and where Liam met her in secret. Then came the night that changed everything. Liam had planned to meet Sophia at her apartment to end things for good. He knew the affair was spiraling out of control, and he wanted to save what was left of his marriage. But Laura had other plans. She followed Liam that night, her mind racing with fury and betrayal. When Liam arrived at Sophia's apartment, Laura was already there, waiting in the shadows. Liam and Sophia's argument could be heard through the thin walls of her apartment. They were shouting. Sophia didn't want to let him go, and Liam begged her to understand. That's when Laura stepped out of the shadows, her face calm but her eyes filled with rage. In her hand was a small pistol, one Liam had bought for home protection years ago but never thought she'd use. What happened next was chaos. Laura's voice quivered with anger as she accused them both of destroying everything she held dear: her life, her family, her dignity. The dim lighting of the apartment cast long shadows on the walls, amplifying the tension in the room. Laura's hands trembled slightly as she held the pistol, but her eyes burned with fury. Sophia, tears streaming down her face, pleaded with Laura to put the gun down, her voice breaking with fear. Liam, pale and frozen in place, tried to move closer, his hands raised in a gesture of surrender. The air was thick with desperation and unspoken words, each second stretching into an eternity as the room teetered on the brink of violence. Her words came fast and sharp, each one cutting deeper into the tense air. Sophia tried to reason with her, her hands raised in a desperate attempt to calm Laura down. Liam, frozen in disbelief, stammered apologies, but Laura's grip on the pistol tightened, her rage boiling over. The room felt like it was about to explode, and in a split second, the unthinkable happened. Sophia tried to calm her down, but Laura wasn't listening. In the heat of the moment, Laura pulled the trigger. Sophia fell to the floor, her life ending in an instant. Liam froze in shock, unable to comprehend what had just happened. Laura didn't run. She called the police herself, claiming it was self-defense. But the evidence told a different story. Liam, shaken and guilt-ridden, confessed everything to the authorities: the affair, the argument, and Laura's jealousy. The police arrested Laura on charges of second-degree murder. As the trial unfolded, the once-perfect Smith family became a public spectacle. Laura's defense team argued that she had been pushed to the edge by Liam's betrayal, that she wasn't thinking clearly. But the jury didn't buy it. Laura was sentenced to 25 years in prison, leaving Liam and their children to pick up the pieces of their shattered lives. The tragedy didn't just end Sophia's life. It destroyed 3 families. Liam's children, caught in the crossfire of their parents' choices, struggled to understand the chaos that upended their lives. They faced whispers at school and cold stares from neighbors, forced to reconcile their love for their mother with the horror of what she had done. Therapy sessions became a lifeline, but the scars of that night lingered, shaping their futures in ways no one could predict. Sophia's parents were left grieving their only daughter. Liam was forever haunted by guilt, and Laura's actions ensured she would never see her family outside the prison walls again. Looking back, the warning signs were everywhere. Liam's affair, Sophia's demands for more, and Laura's growing resentment all pointed to a disaster waiting to happen. But no one could have predicted that it would end like this, with betrayal, rage, and a deadly twist no one saw coming. In the aftermath, the community was left reeling. Liam's business suffered as clients pulled away, unwilling to associate with the scandal. Friends who had once admired the Smiths turned their backs, unwilling to be caught in the web of gossip. Meanwhile, Sophia's family, heartbroken and angry, fought to preserve her memory, insisting that justice had not been fully served. Liam, now a single father, struggled to raise his children while living with the constant reminder of his actions. His guilt was unrelenting. Every day he replayed the events in his mind, wondering what he could have done differently. Could he have ended the affair sooner? Could he have prevented Laura from finding out? Could he have saved Sophia's life? Laura's time in prison was no easier. She quickly became a target for other inmates, her crime making her infamous even within the prison walls. Her once perfect life was reduced to a cold cell and endless regret. But despite everything, she remained convinced that she had been driven to the edge by Liam and Sophia's betrayal. As years passed, the story of Liam, Laura, and Sophia became a cautionary tale, whispered about at dinner parties and used as a warning for anyone tempted to stray. It was a painful reminder of how quickly lives can unravel when secrets and lies take hold. But even in the midst of tragedy, there were lessons to be learned. Liam's children, now grown, worked hard to build lives free from the shadows of their parents' mistakes. Sophia's family started a foundation in her name, dedicated to helping young women achieve their dreams without falling into dangerous relationships. And Laura, though still in prison, began to find some measure of peace, working with counselors to understand her actions and the pain that drove her to such extremes. This story is more than just a tale of infidelity and jealousy. It's a story about choices, the ones we make and the ones we don't, and how those choices can lead to devastating consequences. Liam's decision to pursue an affair shattered the trust in his marriage, while Laura's growing resentment drove her to a breaking point. Sophia, caught in the middle, paid the ultimate price for their choices. The events of that night set off a chain reaction that forever altered the lives of 3 families, leaving behind questions of what could have been done differently to prevent such a tragedy. From Liam's decision to pursue an affair to Laura's breaking point fueled by betrayal, every action set off a chain reaction. It's about the fragility of trust, the destructive power of unchecked emotions, and the ripple effects that extend far beyond the individuals involved, leaving scars on families and communities alike. It's about the consequences of our actions and how they ripple out, touching lives in ways we never intended. And it's a story about the human heart, its capacity for love, for anger, and ultimately, for forgiveness. So what do you think? Could Liam and Sophia have made different choices? Could someone have stepped in to stop the tragedy? Or was it all destined to end this way?